Hello there, and thank you for joining me today for Guided Doodling. Today we're going to be exploring the Serendipity Soul Guided Doodling sheet, which you can find for free on our website. So this is what the blank sheet looks like. And I want to go over our last session. We explored lines and circles with this, and then looking back at our Jeweled Leaves Guided Doodling sheet, here are all the ideas that we came up with on that. Now, this is a wonderful practice on its own, but we also use this sheet as inspiration to create our collage mandalas and also for our fodder sheet. So let me show you. So here are a whole bunch of different fodder sheets from our different collections. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be exploring teardrops and arcs. So in the first box, we'll explore teardrops, and then the next box, arcs. And let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do is across the top of the box, we're going to just do a line of teardrops, the same size, same distance apart, but not worrying about exactness. Here I'm using an ultra fine tip Sharpie, and you can use whatever you want. If you want to use a pencil, a pen, any type of marker. And then I'm going to start exploring different ways to create patterns with these teardrops. So maybe I want to do a teardrop just like we did in the top, and then maybe one upside down. And then continuing with that pattern across the box. So same spacing, but not worrying about exactness. And then whatever else I can think of with teardrops, just changing up the pattern. So maybe doing a large one and a small one. And you can follow along with exactly what I'm doing, or if something else is coming to mind, you can do that. So large and small. And then maybe looking at doing one on its side, and then in the opposite direction. So continuing that pattern across. And then coming up with other patterns. Maybe I want to make like a floral pattern, like this. So 4 teardrops and a pattern that looks like flowers. And then what I want to do is to move on to these shapes. These are the shapes that make up the Serendipity Soul Mandala down here. And I'm just going to come up with different ideas for within the shape. So different patterns for the teardrops. So maybe one like this, like that, and like that, just fitting them in like that. Maybe moving up and doing the same thing. Same pattern with 3 teardrops. And then moving on to the next shape, coming up with an idea to do teardrops within the shape. So maybe one like that. and a smaller one inside. And then moving on, whenever you're ready for the last shape, maybe just teardrops like this. So whatever's coming to mind for you with adding teardrops to the inside of the shapes. Now I'm going to move back to this shape here and think of a way to add teardrops to the outside. So maybe something like this. And then another one. So 3 teardrops, similar to what we did in the inside. Just like that. And you can add as many as you want on the outside. I'm going to stop at that and move on to the next shape. Maybe here I want to do 2 right at the bottom. And 2 at the top. Whatever's coming to your mind, we could do 1. Just like that. And then moving on to the last shape. Maybe I want to do 1 at each of these around the shape. So whatever's coming to you with the teardrops. And then moving on to the next box, we're going to explore arcs. So I made my first one there. So I'm going to continue making it the same size, not worrying about exactness across the top. And then moving on, thinking about something else to do with the arc, so maybe doing them this way. Same size, equal distance apart across the row. And then what else can I think of? Maybe alternating. 1 down, 1 up, across the box. So anything that's coming to mind for you with arcs. Maybe I can attach them. So across the box, all of them attached. And maybe I want to do a pattern, so maybe 2 in a space, 2 in a space, just like that. I could turn them like this. And then like this. And then go across the box, making a pattern. I could stack them, so maybe do a layer attached, and another layer, just like that. So whenever you're done coming up with ideas in that box, we can move on to the shapes, just thinking of different ways to add arcs. So maybe 4 arcs just like this, and move up. And just like that. So anything that you're thinking of to add arcs within the shapes. And I'm going to move on to the next shape. Maybe upside down. And right side up. Just allow your hands to guide you, whatever's coming to you. So this one, maybe I want to do an arc like this. on the other side of each of those points. And then once you're done with the inside, what can you think of to add arcs to the outside? Maybe one like this, just touching it, and then trying to do symmetric, but not worrying about exactness. Maybe I want to do one down here. And then whenever you're ready, moving on to the next shape. Maybe going down the side with the arcs attached to each other. And then maybe arcs like this. Completely changing this shape by adding arcs to the outside. So wherever your hands are guiding you. Once we're done with these boxes, what we're going to do is look for connection points. We're going to try to connect these shapes by adding teardrops and arcs. So let's start from the center and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to attach these two shapes with teardrops, just like this. All the way around the mandala. And then just scanning, thinking of ways that I can attach them. So maybe an arc, attaching this to this to this. And maybe adding another one. So just moving around. Adding arcs to connect the shapes. And I'm just turning my paper as I go. Just noticing the other shapes that are created as I connect this mandala. And again, not worrying about exactness, just allowing my hands to move. Just taking a look and thinking about other ways. Maybe I want to connect kind of the midpoint here to here with a teardrop. And then this side. Going from here to here. And just moving around, kind of finding the midpoint. From here to here. Just turning my paper as I go. And seeing how this mandala is coming together. Maybe I want to add another teardrop. So starting where I did before, but going down to here. Here to here. So any points of connection that you can find between the shapes. And just turning as I go. Just eyeing where I'm going or drawing an imaginary line with my pen. And again, if you feel more comfortable doing this with a pencil, you could do that. And then from here to here, completing the mandala. And now I'm going to scan and decide if I want to make any more marks with the teardrops or the arcs. And I'm thinking maybe I want to do a big arc like this, which might be challenging. So from there to there. So I'm looking kind of at the midpoint of this curve and going to the tip of that. So the midpoint to the tip. Just coming up with ideas on this sheet. Not worrying about perfection. They're not going to be all exact. Always appreciating the handmade nature of the marks. And going around the entire mandala. And then taking a look, and right now I'm really enjoying this as it is, so I'm going to call that complete. I'm going to cap my marker. And thank you so much for joining me today. And if you want to join us for Mandala Monday, where we explore the collage mandalas, I would love to see you there. Thank you so much for joining me.